I don't know why I ever had faith in him. That was a big mistake, and I'd like to formally apologize to Night Nation and to my fellow dudes on the mall for even considering having faith in them because I feel like a total doofus, and I think that's a great punishment for me is feel like a total idiot, and maybe that's why I left early because I was just so ashamed of rooting for the USF Bulls to beat the Alabama Crimson Tide with Nick Saban, who should have used his dark magic to absolutely put an ass whooping on him.
Hey, Frankie Valley, he gets the people going.
That's just too many points.
I was like, hey, Gabe, how's it going? I love your work.
Dudes on the Mall is the podcast to listen to.
Week 4 of Dudes on the Mall is now here. We are again virtual. Josh is on a never-ending road trip. When do you get back, Josh?
I get back on Thursday, and I'm not scheduled to leave again. At this moment as of this recording, I'm not scheduled to leave again. So as soon as this podcast is live, I'll probably get another trip put on my calendar. So I'm sorry for lying in advance.
Well, whenever we do get back all together, we'll start the Big 12 flag counter, how many times it falls off, and we'll have a line set for everyone. I could have done it behind me right now.
I was going to
just
say,
for
you should have
fun.
just put it up right there. Yeah.
Should have done it there. We could do this painting. Should I just rip it off the wall?
I'll give it under on a half on falling at minus 3,000.
Yeah.
I would put minus 10,000 on it. Those are generous odds. I'd drop a couple coins on it.
If that painting falls during this podcast, I'm gonna die. I will.
He put his life savings into under a half for this painting falling.
Well, coming off of a relatively easy win against Villanova this past week, 48-14, I went back and rewatched the game on Saturday morning, or no, I guess it was Sunday morning. Sunday morning, rewatched the game, went and joined you guys for tailgating for a little bit before I had to make my way out to work. How was the atmosphere, guys?
It's fun, man. That was my first time on softball this year. There were a lot of people out there. I don't know about the home opener. It was a Thursday, but yeah, it was great on the mall. Tons of people out there. The atmosphere at the stadium was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It was an announced sellout. I don't think it was quite a sellout.
It was a distributed sellout.
Yeah. Like I think that away corner where like all the away fans sit was a little lacking, and then the student section died at halftime. I mean,
wonder why.
Yeah, I mean, yes, we were up by a bunch, but I don't know. There couldn't have been more than 4,000 people in the north end zone after half. I don't know.
Oh, after half, it was scarce. I mean, the fourth quarter, there was like what, 50?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I was the only one that stayed the whole game. I didn't want to call you out this early, Josh, but
no, I was tired. I was tired.
I was in our section by myself with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
I'm not ashamed. I'm not
Crazy.
ashamed to admit that when for the 11th time the frickin' TV timeout guy comes out and we're up by at least 8 scores, I'm like, you know what? I think it's time for me to head out. So I'm not afraid. I'm not ashamed to admit that sometimes, yes, I can't hang.
Well, I can tell you, since I had to go back and watch it on ESPN, since I could fast forward through all the billion commercials that there were, I did feel that it was shorter than the Boise game, but the total runtime, start to finish, including commercials, was 3 hours, 11 minutes.
I was going to say, it did not feel shorter than Boise being there. Like 2 weeks in a row, the TV timeouts are just terrible. And you're, especially in a game like that, like in Boise, it was maybe a little bit easier because it's a good game and you're just excited for it to come back. This one, you're just like, it felt like it was getting dragged out for an eternity. I was like, oh my God.
Well, let's think about this for a second. We weren't even on TV. We were streaming.
No.
This past weekend. There's no reason. Did
you hear about
reason?
Did you hear about the cameras on the stream or whatever at the very beginning of the game? Did you see Johnny's text?
No, so when I went and rewatched it at the beginning of the game, they're having technical difficulties, and you were watching the camera angle was from above the south end zone, looking down between the goalposts. That was the camera angle that you were watching the plays through, and it wasn't zoomed in.
It was funny because like on the highlights they tweeted the next day, like the first like 3 plays or whatever were from that camera angle, and I was like, what is going on right now?
All reliable.
My mom texted me and was like, "You could do better than these guys that they got on the broadcast right now." Apparently,
Oh.
like I was listening to it, it was pretty rough.
Ugh. Well,
But
we've had our fair share of bad experiences with ESPN Plus, thanks
Yeah.
American Athletic
we all
Conference.
know that we're not a fan of ESPN Plus, so we'll just leave it at that. But overall game, I thought going back rewatching looked really good. Stat lines real quick. Timmy 20 of 28 for 321. Kobe monster game, 6 receptions, 147 yards. RJ Harvey 14 carries, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. Overall, a phenomenal game offensively. I think we also shared the runs a lot too. McDonald had 12 carries, Johnny had 10, Timmy had 9. Defense stepped up. Villanova's quarterback was only 9 of 23 for 144. Their leading rusher had 39 yards. So all in all, I don't think you could ask for more from that game.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely got deep because maybe I just wasn't aware, but Cam Ingram with 4 carries, I had no idea who that was when he came out. Apparently he's who? Like we had 5 running backs get carries in the game, and Mark Anthony Richards didn't even get a single one. So we got deep in the running back room. I know we talked about it before, but
we also had 9 different players catch a pass.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Our boy X wasn't one of them, though.
Nope,
he was not friend of the
Crazy.
program.
Had a touchdown that was taken away that should have counted. Bad block or whatever it was, block in the back on Javon.
Yeah,
and then Javon also cost Kobe his long touchdown too, but then he followed it up with that nice catch in the corner.
Yeah, which was a dot, by the way.
Yes, great pass.
So, yeah.
Game notes, Justin. I wasn't there, so did you take any? I don't know.
Yeah, I got a lot actually. It was there were a lot of TV timeouts to catch up on game notes this time, so I was chilling. Most of them are about Timmy actually. So,
Timmy,
because I figured that was going to be a pretty big talking point. So we'll start off with Timmy McLean is what we're calling him now. I know you rewatched it, but the man looked good. Like it took him a minute to settle in. I think he definitely had some nerves or something at the beginning, but he had like this poise in the pocket that was like blowing my mind on every play. And I kept looking over at Matt, and like every throw, I was like, "That's a great throw." Like there was my favorite throw of the game was it was like late second quarter, I think, or something, and he split the high safety and the corner and just threw a perfect dime to Kobe on the left side of the field. And I remember looking at Matt at that play, and I was like, damn, that was a good throw. So and then he also had a throw to Javon where he got flushed out of the pocket, came back, threw across his body, hit Javon that was dragging across the middle of the field. So I mean, he just was reading the defense well. His legs were working. His arm was doing okay. I mean, that touchdown pass to Javon was great. So yeah, I mean, I thought he looked good. What did you think, Josh, about Timmy?
No, I think he looked the big thing about Timmy is that he looked comfortable. He looked comfortable in the pocket. He looked comfortable having the ball in his hands, but he's just so fundamentally sound. And I feel like that's a theme of the entire game for the entire team, is that it was just a fundamentally good game of football for us. Like we just went out there, did our job, took care of business, got the hell out of there. And you look at the result, we scored a ton of points. So yeah, I think that honestly, in Timmy we trust. I know we say that with every quarterback that goes under center, but with the big opponent in Kansas State coming up this week, I think that this game was the perfect opportunity for him to get some reps in, get a little warm up, get comfortable with the offense, and just sling it. I tell you, his ball looks good when it comes off his arm.
Yeah, he's got a cannon of an arm. So,
well, you can't ask for a better setup for going into a game than having a opponent like Villanova. Not to say anything bad about them, but relatively speaking, you're coming.
But to say things bad about them is what you're saying.
But to say things bad about them.
That was my hardest part about like judging, how we were playing like on both sides of the balls, because I wanted to say our offensive line looked a million times better than last week, but Villanova's defensive line ain't good. Our D line looked incredible. I know our D line is one of the best parts of our team, but I mean, they were having their way, but is it just because, Villanova's offensive line, it's a bunch of nobodies? Like, I don't know. So it was really tough to evaluate, but I mean, we look good.
Well, I think it'll be interesting if we see Timmy run a little bit more. And again, I wonder if we held back the playbook some. I know we were run heavy that whole first drive. I think they're just trying to get him comfortable, get him to the flow of the game. That fourth down was good, set the tone for first drive of the game. Josh, I was gonna squeeze a live without into your monologue there, but I decided not to.
You should have. That's a little enhancer.
It might just pop
Salt
up
on
throughout the
top.
podcast as long as as long as Timmy's playing.
Yeah.
Not Tommy. Tommy's doing work up at Boston College. I actually watched the beginning of that game on Saturday, and he was looking pretty good. He was looking pretty good. Things got out of hand, but they almost came back.
I think, not to get off subject, but I think FSU will get exposed by some opponent that they should easily beat this year. It happens every year. I feel like it's usually Pitt, but someone will come along like Boston College, give them a problem, and they'll pick up a loss before the end of the year. Before anything else on Villanova before I transition?
I'm looking through my notes real quick. Mostly just Timmy. D-line looks good.
Timmy
Risk
this, Timmy
obviously
that.
got some play time, so we got to see
Risks,
him.
yeah.
I think let me look at the stat sheet. He had like 5 throws, I think.
He's 4 or 5.
4 or 5, yeah, sorry. So I mean, by then we were kind of just like trying to get 50 points, I think. So it wasn't anything crazy, but good to see him get some time. You know, we talked about it last week, so so good to see that. And then the other one was, I know you mentioned Kobe, 6 catches for 147 yards. Is Kobe wide receiver 1 or is Javon wide receiver 1? I don't know, because
technically it's Javon, but I mean Kobe's making a case.
Dude, Kobe's having a huge case. That's 2 games in a row where he was over 125 receiving yards. And Javon again. I looked at Josh at some. I forget what the play was. I wish I could find a highlight of it or something. But Javon had another sloppy drop in this game, and I looked at Josh, and all I said was, "It's a lifetime, huh?
Once in a lifetime."
I love Javon, but be a man of your word. Like, come on.
There's definitely some sus drops. Yeah, it's just I don't know what's been going on with him, but yeah, Kobe's definitely looking like the better option. Honestly, the bigger target. He just looks his target just looks so much bigger than Javon right now.
Yeah.
Well, good win. We got it done. We move on. We're on to Big 12 play. Before I go into that, I do have a slight rant for this week. I thought about it. I have my first, I think, rant of the year.
Okay.
Florida Gator fans are already in prime form after beating Tennessee.
Sure.
And I'll make this very short. But the conversation so far the first 2 days at the office this week is that Florida's back because they beat a bad Tennessee team. And I was then, just chatting about the UCF game with another UCF fan in the office, and Gator fan chimes in saying how you can't take anything what we did and take it and actually analyze it because it was Villanova. Like, you played a bad football team. Like, why are you guys scheduling Villanova? Why are you even playing them? Blah, 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 blah. Y'all played McNeese State second week of the season. So I don't want to hear anything about how Florida this, Florida that, 2 wins, they're ranked. Their wins are against McNeese State. They lost to Utah, who has a backup quarterback, and they beat Tennessee at home, who looked just god-awful. That's it. I'm not going to go into it.
Wanted to make sure you finished.
Yeah, great rant. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Justin.
I would say the Gator fans, they're ranked in the top 25 now. They think they're all that.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait for them to play Georgia. Can't wait for it.
I love, they never left.
Exactly. I love Gator fans. I don't love them, but I love the stupid things they say, because I'm not going to sit here and say that our schedule has been harder than theirs so far. I'm not saying theirs is crazy difficult, but yeah, to just be why would you even schedule? Look at any Power 5 school and tell me who they've played so far. Obviously you have your games like FSU and LSU that happen week 1 or whatever, but most of your bigger schools are playing your Villanovas, your McNeese States, your freaking Sam Houston, that whoever's playing this week. I think Houston has Sam Houston, actually. Is that right? Whatever. Anyways, everybody's playing cupcake teams.
They play Charlotte. They play Charlotte on Saturday. Huge game for them.
Ooh.
Then they're at Kentucky. All right, fine. Then they got Vanderbilt. So within a 4-game stretch, they'll have played. Within a 5-game stretch, 3 of their 5 will be against Charlotte, Vanderbilt, and McNeese State. Give me a break.
Yeah, So I love that. Like, I'm not
Really
arguing our
quick,
schedule has been harder, but come on.
A tale as old as time. At least be self-aware.
really quick, while we're in the SEC, what the hell is going on to the with the Crimson Tide right now?
I love it.
What's going on?
Well, you were rooting for freaking USF, weren't you?
Yeah, because I was at that point when it's the fourth quarter, and like they're like, all right, shit, they're gonna bring down the Tide. Like this is crazy. Like I'm happy for them. Nope, couldn't get it done
No.
because they suck. Because they're terrible. They're just
Yeah.
absolutely horrible. I mean, what do they say? To be the best, you have to play the best. But they've taken an L
Yeah.
in every single one of those games that they've been marketing. So I don't know why I ever had faith in them. That was a big mistake, and I'd like to formally apologize to Night Nation and to my fellow dudes on the mall for even considering having faith in them because I feel like a total doofus. And I think that's a great punishment for me is I feel like a total idiot. And maybe that's why I left early because I was just so ashamed of rooting for the USF Bulls to beat the Alabama Crimson Tide with Nick Saban, who should have used his dark magic to absolutely put an ass whooping on him.
See, this is what I was going to say. I think that how that game ended is the perfect outcome because USF still gets the L, but Bama looked like shit.
They look terrible.
And like, did you see Saban walking off the field after the game?
Man's exhausted. He looks
Dude,
like he just got off a double.
He looked like he just had a meeting with the Grim Reaper. Like he looked like death.
He's seeing ghosts.
Yeah,
100%.
it was crazy.
We were talking about that this morning at work, and I hadn't thought about. Well, I was talking to my family about it last night. We were just talking about, like, this is the Bama dynasty over? Which, just thrown out there, if they run the table, they're going to be in the playoff from this point on. Like if they win the rest of their games this year, they'll be in the playoff. So unless they pick up a second loss, I wouldn't be worried if I was them. But imagine Bama picks up like another, 2 losses this year. They finish regular season with three L's on the year. Everyone's gonna be calling for save and be fired. Everyone's gonna overreact. Who do they go to? Not that this would happen, but who's even a candidate to take that job? I only have one name in my head.
Well, this is like hypothetically speaking that they would fire Nick Saban?
Even if it wasn't this year, if it was in the next 2 to 3 years, like say in 3 years, they're like, all right, like it's time to start transitioning.
Yeah.
Say next year they have another 3-loss year and they're ready for a new regime to come in and revive them because everyone's gonna be upset because they're not consistently top 5 or whatever. I only got one name. I just want to see if you guys would agree. I want to see if you have anyone that comes to mind though.
The only name popping into my mind right now is Cliff Kingsbury.
Okay, that wasn't mine.
Yeah, that's the only one because he's just not coaching anywhere right now. But
Mine's
I mean,
currently
Kirby
coaching.
Smart wouldn't go to Bama.
That one, someone said that one. I was like,
He wouldn't leave Georgia. You can't be thinking
Brandon,
Heupel.
No, not Heupel.
Okay,
Brandon, are you thinking Are you thinking that you're not thinking Gus Malzahn, are you?
No.
no, yeah,
Oh,
he's not.
then I got no idea.
He coached at Auburn, dude. He wouldn't go to Bama.
That's true. Then who? Scott Frost?
Mac
No.
Brown. We're gonna go for the old guys again.
No, mine was Lane Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin. You think
Oh,
Lane
okay.
Kiffin would leave Ole Miss to go to Bama?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
Maybe Belichick will get done with the Patriots and just come back.
I don't think Belichick would do well in college.
I don't think so either, but
he can't recruit.
I don't know.
Anyway, that was just a fun hypothetical. When it happens in 3 or 4 years, come back and reference this podcast. Lane Kiffin, Alabama football coach.
It's funny because you're not far off. It's like Nick Saban is the greatest coach of all time, but if Alabama has like 3 losses, they'll just like immediately be like, "Fire him, get him out of here."
Yeah,
So,
no,
take
everyone's
me
going to
back.
be like, hey, he needs to go.
Crazy.
All right, Big 12 football. We're on to it this week. Kansas State. First game on the road, always going to be tough. They're coming off of a heartbreaking loss to Missouri, 30-27. Missouri hit, what was it, a 61-yard field goal at the end of regulation?
Yeah. And then Josh proceeded to celebrate as if Kansas State losing was a good thing.
oh, it's a great thing.
You're an idiot.
I highly disagree.
What?
I would have rather them
I
still be
couldn't
ranked.
disagree more. Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, it's time to come clean. I had a little too much to drink on Saturday. That's all I'm saying.
This man's like, hell yeah, Kate State lost. I'm like, dude, we want them ranked. We don't want them pissed.
Well,
After you said that, I was like, oh yeah.
They gave up 13 points in the fourth quarter to blow their lead. So they came into the fourth quarter winning, gave up 13. They're up by 10. So that was kind of that thing that came right there. But looking at that game against Missouri, Will Howard, their quarterback, 25 of 39, threw for 270, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. He is hurt. I believe it is a bad ankle and is questionable for the game this coming Saturday. He wasn't able to run this past weekend in the second half, so he had to play through the pain. But
So he
looking
played the
forward,
whole game.
yeah, he did play the whole game.
Okay.
Looking forward on that, huge asterisk next to him if he's going to be good to go. Running back Trayshawn Ward also injured and is questionable for this game on Saturday. Actually, he's listed as doubtful as of late this afternoon. So that's 2 key pieces right there. And then they also have, I believe it is a starting linebacker who has already been ruled out, and they'll be starting a true freshman at the middle linebacker spot. So they're already going through the injury bug 3 weeks into the season.
That's tough. Been there, done that. Actually, doing it right now.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
I mean, we have one notable guy out right now.
I mean, it's pretty notable.
Yeah, but Timmy's.
Listen, I'm a big Timmy guy now. After Saturday, I told you I'm a big Timmy guy, but I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing this whole last season thing again.
Mikey Keene or JRP.
Whoever's under center is the guy.
No,
Well,
I mean, I think if
no, go ahead, Josh.
I just think that this is, I mean, poor. I don't want to say poor Kansas State because we get. I feel empathetic. I feel the injury bug, but on the flip side of that, now's the time. Now we gotta take advantage of this, and I mean, starting a true freshman. What'd you say? A linebacker?
Middle linebacker.
Middle linebacker. So I mean, there's a key part of the defense right there. You're probably going to have to go to your QB2,
especially on a run-heavy offense.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So I think we just got to put our foot on the gas and just not let up. And I'm curious to see if Gus is going to get if Hinshaw, sorry, so used to it, like a tick. If Hinshaw is going to get aggressive at the beginning of the game and just start throwing plays downfield or just pulling out just these tricks in the playbook or just finding those those starred plays, if that's going to happen, or if we're going to play it more conservatively, I for one would love to just see us just tunnel vision, just get after it, just get aggressive.
I was going to say I would rather our see our defense get aggressive. Hearing the injury to their quarterback, you said their running back is doubtful.
Running back is doubtful. Quarterback has a bum ankle.
Right. Stack the box, get some pressure in there. Really, if you want this guy, if they're going to be starting their backup, make him uncomfortable in the pocket. Take the nickel back out for a couple plays and throw an extra linebacker in there. Put 7 in the box. Get everybody going. I feel like I don't see, maybe I'm not looking for it, but I feel like I don't see us apply that much pressure that often besides, outside of our D line. I'd love to see some heavy blitzes or just some crazy packages to try to make them as uncomfortable as possible.
Well, looking at stats for Kansas State, their starter Will Howard, completion percentage of 66% through three. I was about to say matches. This is football. I'm in work mode still. Through 3 games, 817 yards, 8 touchdowns, 3 picks. He's only been sacked 4 times. Their backup is 3 for 4 in the year for 55 yards, and they have run 1 trick play because their injured running back does have 1 pass attempt this year. Outside of that, it looks like DJ Giddens is also, they look like a back by committee type thing. He's got 36 carries for 216 yards. And then I'm guessing that outside of that, they really don't have much production because after that, Will Howard, their quarterback, is their 3rd leading rusher on 21 carries for 59 yards.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's going to be a pass heavy attack. If they, for some reason, have a quarterback get hurt, something happens, they are going to be, it looks like, very one-dimensional on offense. They do spread the ball out a lot receiving wise. They've got 4 players who have over 10 receptions, and all 4 of them also have over 150 receiving yards plus multiple touchdowns. So there's not really one guy that I think what the defense needs to be concerned about. I think the key to the game is going to be pressure on the quarterback and stopping the run, which as long as we tackle this week, I honestly think we should be fine. And I don't see anything major coming out of this other than that if we lose this game, we were our own worst enemy.
I agree with that, yeah. And then tackling did look a lot better this past weekend again, Villanova, but it looked heads and tails better than Boise State. So,
well, like I said, fundamentally, even if it looked incredible, even if we're playing, a high school team essentially, fundamentally sound football. That's what I liked about this past weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, just to throw us off of our game, I'm going to throw this out there. We've got Plane Gate going on out in the Little Apple. You guys heard about this?
Is that the Air Force plane that went missing or whatever? Not missing. But...
No, which I found the Air Force plane on Facebook Marketplace yesterday. I messaged the guy asking if I could buy it, but he didn't reply for some reason.
That's hilarious. Okay, anyway. Plane Gate? Then no, I haven't heard about that.
So American Airlines has ceased flights into the Little Apple of Manhattan, Kansas, and they will resume conveniently on September the 25th because the airport needed to undergo some construction, and the next closest airport, I believe, at least I saw public airports, is 2 hours away in I think it was the Kansas City airport, if I'm not mistaken. But all flights have been rerouted to Kansas City, which is a 2-hour commute over to Manhattan. So don't know if it has anything to do with the game. Not saying it does, but hey, just throwing it out there.
So the team is flying into Kansas City this weekend.
I actually don't know if the team's flying into Kansas City or not. If they are,
Plane Gate.
Hey, they got a leg up on us. We got to take a 2-hour bus ride over.
Okay. I'm not too worried about it.
I'm just looking for a storyline to read too much into.
The clickbait.
Yeah.
Plane Gate?
Manhattan closes airport. UCF rerouted. Doesn't want team there. All right, moving on.
That sounds so random though. Why now? I understand. I understand there's a football, but I can almost 95% guarantee that it was not Kansas State related. But now we're asking questions here. Now we can ask
us
questions.
Off our game.
That's
hey,
weird.
you gotta find the article and click on it to read about it. I did find when the flights were actually changed. It started on September 6th. So at the beginning of football season. Very convenient. Just throwing it out there.
That was 2 days before the Boise game.
Hey, just throwing it out there.
Or 3 days. 3 days before the Boise game. So maybe there's
and then they were on the road at Missouri this past week.
Brandon, you might be onto something.
I'm onto something here.
Sniffing it out.
Cool. Well, are we on to our dudes of the week?
I think so, yeah.
Who won it last week? I wonder who.
Put my hands up like Josh did. First up in the books. It was always the T-Dog.
It was always. I mean, that we already said, because we were like, this is a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you go for the good boy?
Yeah. To be fair, I think the DJ should have won it. But
DJ
it's a
made
dog.
a late run. DJ did make a late run.
But it's a dog, and you're never going to beat out a dog. That's just how it works.
That's true.
I guess no one gives a shit about fake IDs. So
no, that's only funny to us, and it's not even that funny because we almost got stuck in Idaho. So.
It's funny now.
Yeah,
it's funny now. I told my family that story last night, and they were like, "Well, what did you do?" I was like, "I went through the whole story to him." My dad was like, "Did he at least apologize?" I was like, "No." Now that I think about it, he didn't apologize.
He didn't. Oh, he was a nice guy. I didn't hear sorry though.
Yeah,
it felt like a sorry.
All I heard was the stack of fake IDs smacking the bar. Anyways, all right, so does that mean I go first?
You are first.
Okay, perfect. My dude of the week this week. This is probably the funniest thing I saw all week, so this is why. Have you guys heard of @VolDaddy on Twitter? Did you guys see this?
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm gonna start out by reading the tweet. So there was a tweet that kind of went viral. I want to say it was Sunday or something like that. It was after Tennessee just lost to Florida. This guy's name is Upset Vol Fan, and his handle is Vol Daddy. Okay. The tweet says, "Guys, I need some help. I jumped the gun and got this tattoo last year prematurely, and now I'm starting to think it was a bad idea. If I started a GoFundMe to get this laser removed, would anyone help? Help me. Hashtag Vol Twitter." And it's a tattoo of Josh Heupel. So I don't know if it's real or not, but I think this is hilarious. I mean, this is obviously tattooed on someone. It might not be this guy that posted it. But my dude of the week is Vol Daddy for having a Heupel tattoo and asking for GoFundMe to get it laser removed after losing to Florida.
That's a really good one.
Yo, that thing looked detailed.
Didn't it? Didn't it? I feel like I've seen that tattoo before somewhere, so this is probably just a meme, but this is so good. I was like, that's the dude of the week.
That's hilarious. All right, Brandon, is it you or me? Probably you. It's got to be you because I got like no votes last week.
Well,
unless you want the last pick, I don't.
No, I'll go ahead and go, and I'll say mine. I've struggled this week. It was kind of an uneventful week for me in terms of dude of the week, just encounters. So I thought really hard about this. Could be controversial, but I don't know if you can classify this as a dude, but my dude of the week is to the U.S. government for losing a plane and asking the public to find it.
I'll give you that one.
No, that's a great dude.
I'll give you that one.
The fact that you ask the public to help you find a stealth plane and you can't find it yourselves, I think is pretty funny. So my dude of the week is the U.S. government. And then just sidebar, the guy that posted on Facebook Marketplace in Oviedo, that was a great post. He was only asking $5 million for it.
That's a deal.
That's not bad.
Hey, I made my best offer and he didn't reply for some reason. I guess they found it.
No, I saw something on Twitter.
Parts.
I saw something on Twitter that was like, okay, it's kind of silly that we can't find a plane, but our stealth planes are incredible then.
They're so good you can't find them. You know that you guys did see they found it, right?
Yeah,
I
I
didn't see that actually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if anyone is still looking for the plane, unfortunately, they did find it. It crashed itself. Well, I think it was flying itself. I don't believe there was a pilot in it.
Well, that's scary.
That's very scary.
If there was, he obviously ejected from it.
Yeah.
I would assume, but yeah. So due to the week, U.S. government stealth plane.
I like it.
All right. So my dude of the week is I don't want to say okay, here's the thing. My dude of the week is there's a specific reason to it, and I know that it's very I don't want to say obvious, but it's like why would you pick this guy? But my dude of the week this week is Terry Mahajer, director of athletics for UCF football. So here's why.
This is a good one.
A person by the name of on Twitter of DFUP23 tweeted out, "Sorry at UCF Knights and at Terry Mahajer, I may be banished for this, but the DJ needs to be replaced immediately. To only play Zombie Nation for 5 seconds is inexcusable." In parentheses, this is the second game in a row now. UCF is known nationally for being the bounce house, and the DJ is completely eliminating that. I'm not sure who made this decision, but it isn't acceptable. That I felt that. Like I was like, oh man, this guy he's about to get some stuff started. But then Timo said, nah, screw that. I'm gonna give you the receipts. So he tweets out, he says, "Time flies, and so does this song when you're having fun." Here's the Zombie Nation play log from last night, because they tweeted this on Sunday. Pre-game run out, 30 seconds. Score 10-0, 20 seconds. Score 17-0, 25 seconds. Score 24-0, 30 seconds. Score 31-0, 16 seconds right after the touchdown, and an additional 45 after the extra point. Score 41-0, 10 seconds. At the end, he says, "I hope this helps." Bam.
Fantastic.
Bam.
And he kept it classy.
It was just the perfect just clap back to this guy to say, all right, we did play Zombie Nation. For the record, does seem a little bit less. It does seem like they don't play Zombie Nation as much. But for Terry to come out with the receipts, that's my dude of the week. And that's my director of athletics.
That's good.
I think the runtime feels shorter. I feel like you got to go through 3 to 4 verses of it.
I agree. Well, also, I think it got better into this Saturday. At the home opener, it felt
home opener was lacking.
Yeah, he didn't play it a lot, and I wasn't there for kickoff, but you guys said he didn't play it at the opening kick and stuff. this week, I mean, we always haven't played it after every touchdown. We played after most touchdowns, not after everyone though.
Did they play the Knights this past week?
They did. It was
No Frankie.
no Frankie. They
No
played the
Frankie.
Knights. They played Booyah. They played Nine Nation or Nine Nation, Zombie Nation, but no Frankie. And I was actually asking for Frankie because if there's ever a game where you want to hear Frankie, it's that one where it's just getting dragged out.
What how was the light show? Was it good?
It was pretty sick.
It
So
was fun.
it was they added the color. It was like a gold ish. So like they would light up, they would turn the main LEDs light off, and then they would have LED lights where they're like halfway up the light poles, right?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah. And then they would change those to like gold. So it was like some form of gold. And then they had the smoke and the fireworks. So it's really cool. Seeing it the second time, I'm not as impressed. I'm not like, all right, this is cool. This is great. Yeah. But I mean, like, I've seen this before.
Did the lights dance at any point, like the main white LEDs at all?
Nope.
No. And that's
Oh,
what I was
okay.
going to say is like, I thought the home opener one was way better than this week's because of the colored lights. Like I feel like at that point, like just shut all the lights off. Like I mean, before the season started, I was under the impression that the colored lights were going to be for like touchdowns, like stuff, just like random stuff. And then after seeing that, like I would rather it be completely dark and everybody's flashlights going crazy than like a yellow tint. And it didn't look as cool, but it was still fun. And the lights did come back on right away. So
That's good. Improvement from
Didn't
the
have to
first game.
wait. Yeah.
I was gonna move on, but I opened up Twitter, and this is the first thing that popped up. There was a tweet I'm looking at right now of USF's current marketing campaign.
Nice.
I should have waited to do my dude of the week. Dude of the week needs to be a USF marketing person.
Oh God.
Their hashtag for this week is hashtag Beatrice, or otherwise known as hashtag Beat Rice.
Beatrice. Oh, okay. Nice.
It's just if you look at it, there's no space between beet and rice, so it just says hashtag Beatrice.
So it's something along the lines of Bulls Pita Head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
up right up that alley. I just thought that was funny.
That's funny.
That whole program is they just need to stop.
They just
need to fold. Like
put
they
them out
need
of
help.
put them out of their misery.
Well, are we on to our picks for the week?
I think so.
I don't know about you guys, but my week last week was it wasn't bad. It was just kind of mid.
Mine was terrible. No one recommend. And then Justin,
Sorry, I put my hands up. I had a great week again.
Well, since I had the least amount of picks, I'll hit mine first real quick. I went 2-3 last week. My two winners were FSU Boston College over 48.5, hit easily, and Army plus 11.5, UTSA. Army won outright. My three losers: Vandy -4 over UNLV, they lost outright. Tennessee -6.5, Florida, they lost outright. And Texas Wyoming over 48.5. Wyoming kind of kept it close actually for a little while. So it brings me to 12-11 on the season.
Still above 500.
Still above 500.
Yes, sir.
not
All right,
bad.
continuing the hot train. Another great week for me. I went 6-2 this past week. I know, Brandon. Yeah,
I hate this guy.
Let's see. That puts my season total up to 22-7. Cooking. We're absolutely cooking. We'll start with the losers. K-State -5 against Mizzou, losing outright. And then Tennessee -6.5 against Florida, also losing outright. That sucked. Anyways, the 6 winners, we got FSU Boston College over 48.5. We have South Carolina plus 27.5 against Georgia. That's just too many points. UNC -7.5 against Minnesota. App State -9.5 against ECU. And two more. LSU Mississippi State over 53.5, and then Washington -16 against Michigan State. That one was super easy.
Man is like
Well,
75% on the season.
I don't like him.
I have
don't
no
like
more than 2 losses every week. Love it. Sorry. Just be happy for me.
No. Anyway, so moving on to my picks. With my standard picks, I had a very week. It was 3-5. So we'll start with the losers. FAU plus 24 versus Clemson. Just gonna have to drop the Owls now because that's two
That's
weeks
2
in a
weeks in
row,
a
and
row.
they just let me down.
I wish I let them at the tailgate.
This one shocked me. Oklahoma State minus 7.5 versus South Alabama, and they lost outright.
By a lot.
That's crazy. By a
What is
lot.
going
It's crazy. So I will give a sad go Pokes. Pew pew.
The 21 gun salute to the dead folks.
All right, and then I had Tennessee minus 6.5 versus Florida, and what a mistake that was, I guess. And I had Iowa versus Western Michigan under 43. Iowa ends up scoring 41 points by themselves. So there goes that bit.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Who would have thought it would be Western Michigan to get that streak going? But finally, my last loser was Alabama minus 32 versus USF. And we all saw how that happened. And then the other loser of the week
Too many points.
Way too many points. The other loser of the week was my perfect parlay. So of course I had all high feelings a week prior, and then of course I had to lose this week. It was always the loss. Four legs, and then I went 2-2 in that perfect parlay. My losers were Iowa State minus 2.5, and what is perhaps probably the worst football game played the entire 2023 season so far. Ohio beat them 10-7, so they lost outright. Then I had K-State minus 5, and they lost outright to Mizzou. But my two winners in that parlay were over 55, Florida State and Boston College. And then I had San Diego State plus 24 because the Beavs just couldn't get it done. I was sweating a little bit, though. It was 26-9 was the final. But doesn't matter because the parlay lost. So big sad boy there. But I did have a couple winners. Fresno State minus 3 versus Arizona State. Mikey Keene still got that dog in him. Colorado State, Colorado over 59.5. That could also translate to, I'll say, sentences made by Deion Sanders that makes me want to run through a brick wall. Love that guy. Then finally, Central Michigan versus Notre Dame over 55.5. That was also a winner. Easy, seemed like.
Well, we're on to week 4. A ton of really good games this weekend. Great slate. It is going to be a sit on the couch, 3 TVs all day for at least type Saturday.
Only get up to pee. That's going to be my mindset on Saturday is only get up to pee.
Get up to pee, get up for food, back to the couch. I got 9 picks this week. I went heavy.
Nice.
Gotcha.
I went a little lower this week. I got 7.
Oh, this guy's starting to play conservative now. He's trying to keep that.
No.
He's trying to keep that record good.
There's just a lot of games that I like and I don't want to touch,
Well, I'll meet you guys in the middle. I picked 8.
Okay, that's fair. So I'll run through mine first real quick. First one, I think FSU is going to rebound from their struggles this past week. Even though Travis did get banged up, I think that they will beat Clemson. So I got FSU minus 2 over Clemson. Next, I have a too many points. I think that they will lose, but I think it'll be closer than what people are saying. I've got Colorado plus 21 against Oregon. Next, because they've been, this might not be good then if I'm riding with Josh. I guarantee neither of you have this pick. I've been big on them this year, so I'm going to keep riding with them. They've been good to me. I got Jacksonville State minus 6 against Eastern Michigan.
Don't have that one.
Okay,
we're good.
Went deep for that one. Next, I think we get an offensive shootout with LSU and Arkansas, so I've got over 55.5. This one was tough for me to pick, but I was looking at it, and I just had to do it. Washington State and Oregon State, 2.5 point spread. I've got Washington State.
Boo.
Brandon.
Boo.
It's in the perfect parlay.
I love it.
That's gonna
I like
lose.
my odds even more.
After that, I have I think this might be my first under of the year, if I'm not mistaken. Let me cross-reference real quick. Oh, no, never mind. I did take one under and it lost already. So second under of the year. I have Georgia and UAB under 53. I think this could be like a 42-7 type game. I don't see UAB scoring more than a touchdown. I don't see Georgia scoring more than 45. Next, I think that this line's actually a little bit disrespectful. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. I think Ohio State's going to get exposed this weekend. I've got Notre Dame +3 against Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Two more picks.
Great pick.
I've this is a very high over for me to take for what I would normally take, but it's been consistent for him, so I'm gonna ride with it. USC, Arizona State over 62. And then last pick, Cincinnati, Emory Jones is not it. I've got Oklahoma -14 over Cincinnati.
If you want a line change, I got a way better line than that.
Oh,
I checked.
really?
Because I wasn't sure if we were gonna be when we were gonna be recording, so I checked the lines like early Sunday morning or like Saturday night, whatever. I got Oklahoma at -11.5.
Oh, that's a huge difference. I will be taking Oklahoma 11.5.
Yeah,
just correction over Cincy. That's big.
Yeah. So you might want to pay attention to my lines then, because I got a few on there. So
okay.
Actually, not for you, but maybe you, Josh. You were all done, right, Brennan?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So moving on, I did add another play, so I have 8 plays now. I know Josh took Colorado, and after hearing you taking Colorado, I had to add that. So we're gonna go with Colorado +21. That's just too many points. That's not even my too many points of the week. That's just too many points though, +21. So, and then my only other two other duplicates. Notre Dame +3. You said that line was disrespectful. I totally agree. I think Notre Dame just looks insane this year. Sam Hartman's playing out of his mind. I know, and Notre Dame's at home. Like +3 is crazy. So, and then Oklahoma -11.5 against Cincy, coming off a big loss. It is at Cincy, but Oklahoma's 3-0 against the spread this season. So that should be too much.
Gabriel has struggled with Cincinnati in his career.
That's fair.
So I'll throw that one out there, but
that's fair. I did not think about that. Anyways,
I didn't until just now.
Wish you hadn't brought it up. All right. And with that, we'll move on. My next play for the week. This one I really like. It's a little high for me. This is what I thought you were going to pick, Brandon, when you said this over was high. I have SMU TCU over 63.5. I think that over is extremely high, but got a little analytical this week. Their over has hit in the past 3 times they've played each other since 2019. Each year, the winner put up at least 41 and the loser put up at least 34. So I see a shootout coming in that game. My too many points of the week. It is not Colorado +21. It is Rutgers +31.5 against Michigan. I think that's way too many points. I was looking at it. Rutgers is 3-0 against the spread this season, and Michigan has not put up more than 35 points this season. If Rutgers scores a touchdown, this line covers. That's my too many points of the season, or too many points of the week.
I like that.
Yeah. When the crazy part is, I was looking at line adjustments since I took that so early. Rutgers has been bet down to +24.
Wow,
that's a whole touchdown. So, anyways, let's see. I kind of lost my place. Now, BYU +9.5 against Kansas. BYU is also doing really well against the spread this season, so I like them against Kansas. I'm going reverse of you, Brandon. I have Oregon State -2.5 against Wazoo.
Not a shocker.
Go Beavs. This game is in Washington State, but
that's why I picked them.
Go Beavs. Doesn't matter. And then my last play of the week, I think I got them all, is UNC -7.5 at Pitt. Pitt's coming off a bad loss to West Virginia, and I think that UNC is just going to steamroll them while they're down.
Gotcha. Well, hopefully all those bets lose. Anyway, so I hate when he's hot.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
I hate when he's hot. I hate it. Anyway, I got 8 picks and a perfect parlay per usual. First one here, got to go with our friends out in Idaho. I got Boise State -7 versus San Diego State. I think they can do it. I think they're still upset. They won last week, so I think that they're still upset that we came in there and they didn't show a little more disrespect to us. So
they had that 10 a.m. kick.
Yeah, true that. I am also riding Florida State. I got Florida State -2 versus Clemson. I think they can beat Clemson easily. I have Oklahoma minus 11.5 now versus Cincinnati. Colorado plus 21 versus Oregon. Way too many points. I've got Alabama minus 7 versus Ole Miss. I think I have to ride the Nick Saban will do crazy shit after a tough game train. Like you have to be on that train. So I'm going to stick with it. Alabama minus 7 versus Ole Miss. For all of my Florida Gator fans out there, just respectfully, we hate you. Charlotte plus 28 versus Florida.
That's a spite pick.
I have UAB UGA. I actually took the over in that game, over 53.5. I got it at, so I think that Georgia, again, it's Georgia. I feel like points, Georgia equals points. Have to take the over. And then I'm not touching any more Iowa unders until further notice. So instead I took Penn State minus 14.5 against them. So I think Penn State will take care of business there. And then on to the perfect parlay. Perfect parlay is sitting at plus 1245 right now, 4 legs. First one I've got, Ohio State versus Notre Dame, over 54.5. I think that there will be a lot of points scored in that game. I also have Arizona State plus 34 versus USC because I think that's kind of too many points. But we'll see. That one I'm going to be sweating, I know. App State plus 2.5 versus Wyoming.
I like that one.
I think that they could win outright. I think, especially after the UNC game, I think they could win outright. And then last but not least, Washington State plus 2.5 versus the Beavs because you always got to fade the Beavs. That's how it goes.
Worked for you one time and you're
Hey, one time's all that it needs. Just give it to me once and I will keep riding.
Fair enough.
100%. So perfect parlay plus 1245. Ohio State versus Notre Dame over 54.5. Arizona State plus 34 versus USC. App State plus 2.5 versus Wyoming, and then Washington State plus 2.5 versus those Beavers out in Oregon.
Well, it'll be an exciting weekend. So this is actually noteworthy. Usually I'm with we actually have a line this week. Don't have to dig for it like Villanova last week. We opened at +7. We are down to +5. 2-point move in the last about 24 hours, which is actually pretty significant, and an over-under set at 53. This game just screams under to me, and I don't know why.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
Well, Big 12 play starts on Saturday. We'll be on Fox Sports 1, FS1, 6 Mountain for our Boise friends.
You got it right.
8 Eastern. It's going to be a late night. Lots of football to watch on Saturday. Great games all day, capping it off with the UCF game at 8 o'clock Saturday night. I think this is where we find out, really how good we are. This is where the season starts. And what was that? Was that 6-0 idea that I had at the beginning of the season?
There we go again.
Here we go again.
Christ.
This is where it starts. This is where it starts towards that path of 6-0.
This is where it starts.
So we'll be back with you all next week. Check out our stuff on social. I know we haven't plugged this very much on social, but go vote on our polls. Vote for Dude of the Week. We'll see everyone back here next week. Go Knights. Charge on.
Charge on.
Charge on.